Well, here we are in the paddock, day 2 at Atlanta Motorsports Park, Champ Car race. I got to start. I used up what was left of our Yokohama A7III, which are very sticky, but don't last as long as a lot of the other 200 tread wear tires. And it was wet, and boy, do they work in the wet. I could pass around the outside, and then we lost a cylinder. We don't know why. It has compression, which is great, but it's something about spark or fuel. It's not getting in there. This is Sam Collier. He just called me up out of nowhere one day a few months ago. He's a big fan of old Volvos. Oh, yeah. He's got 3 Volvo wagons that are all hopped up, from mild to wild to ridiculous. Sam's been working on the Volvo, done a lot of work, even spent a little bit of your own hard-earned money.
Oh yeah.
I appreciate it, Sam, thank you.
Well, you know, teamwork, right?
What have you done in here?
So, we went with actually an older style T3 turbocharger, which would have been on these cars earlier in their production run, but it's bigger. Got a bigger exhaust housing, which was really the limiting factor, keeping the power available up higher in the RPM band. We needed to free it up high.
Yeah, I had the little turbo. There's a Mitsubishi they put in later to reduce turbo lag, which is actually pretty nice for the street. But for racing, that little bitty turbo could not breathe at high RPM. It always frustrated me that the race car would get to about 5,000 and then the power fell off dramatically. It's not satisfying. I want to feel the power climbing as we rev. Oh, yeah. So this is another Volvo turbo. It's older, but it's bigger. It's Garrett, right?
Garrett T3, just a standard Garrett T3.
Yeah, all you turbo guys will know that.
Yeah, that and a little cheap blow-off valve, because the Garrett doesn't have the internal blow-off valve like the Mitsubishi does, so we had to put that on there. Put a standalone engine management, just went as kind of cheap as we could with a micro squirt. It's a product of Mega Squirt. And
kind of piggyback, right? Is it working with?
Well, it's
standalone.
The factory harness is still in the car. We just took the factory ECU plug, chopped an old ECU off of so I could use the plug, and we call it plug and play. My buddy Kenny Howard, I would say he really kind of pioneered that design for the Mega Squirt guys and the Volvos. He sells them all the time. Had some ECUs he let me get, chopped them up, soldered them up.
I bet you like Volvos the same reason I do. Volvos they're inexpensive, the old ones. Rear drive, easy to work on. They handle well, they got good brakes. You can have a lot of fun with them for not a lot of money. And nobody expects you to be as fast as you are. They make great sleepers.
Yeah.
I know this morning the car was really good, Sam.
Yeah.
And I started last, almost last, and I moved all the way through the field up to second place, I think.
Yes, you were second place.
And it was just fun.
In less than 2 hours, he went from third from last to second place.
Yeah, to catch all these BMWs and a 350Z and 240SX and Miata's all cranked up. Yeah. Catch them with a Volvo sedan and this big square thing shows up in your mirrors. Yeah. That's a lot of fun. And so that part's good. Yeah. Sam, you did a great job.
Thanks.
You fixed the clutch.
Well, yeah.
For a while.
Yeah.
Then we had a clutch issue yesterday, but we bled it, and first stint, it was good.
Yeah, maybe it boiled the fluid. I don't know.
Maybe it healed itself.
Maybe it's happy again.
The fluid that came out did not look good.
That's what Frank was saying.
You also got the clutch working better.
Well, we made some changes. We put the right combination of parts. It's got a Tilton master cylinder and throw-out bearing, and I don't know, somehow we ended up with the wrong combination of parts there, but Tilton set us straight, got the right master cylinder on there. And
yeah, you know Frank Resinetti, the guy who's done a lot of the major rework on the whole car. He himself chose to put a real live race clutch in this car. I thought he was nuts. But I'm like, well, if you want to buy it, go ahead. Well, we've actually had a lot of trouble with it. Sam's work on the hydraulics was a big step. He put a smaller master, right?
Yeah, put a smaller master on there. And
made the pedal lighter and gave it a wider range of engagement. It just feels a lot better.
And it's a good clutch. I mean, it's a Tilton, and then in the clutch game, they're as good as it gets.
Something else that happened is we had chains for our rear axle travel limiters,
Yep.
droop straps. We have race springs in the car, and if the axle drops down to where the shocks go, the springs can fall out.
Yeah.
So we can't let the axle drop too far. We use chains. Well, the chains somehow got wound up,
Yeah.
and we had no droop. And when you have no droop, as soon as the car rolls or hits a bump, the wheel comes off the ground because it can't hang down. And so Sam figured that out and got in there and put some longer nylon straps that can't get twisted up.
And
So
really
that was a good move.
The good fix is to, you know, shout out to old Ben Kaplan over there. He wants to put a set of helper springs and just get rid of the limiting straps altogether, so you get full articulation of the rear axle, which I understand. That is probably the right way to do things.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know that it's going to necessarily fix all our problems, but I don't think it's a terribly expensive upgrade.
Yes, sir. Sam also just kind of went through the car and tidied up and fixed a lot of things and just made it even better. We had our best race ever yesterday, and I had a great stint this morning until we lost the cylinder. We don't know why. We got to figure it out. I don't think that spark looked very strong, Sam, at all.
It didn't look very good, and maybe we can.
It should jump an inch.
Maybe we can put
half an inch.
Some aftermarket coil packs on there. We can do batch fire ignition or waste and spark ignition.
Maybe.
If you want.
I'm telling you, a stock Volvo will rock your world if you get shocked by it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I've been there.
Might be a bad wire.
This one just looks like, I'm like, is it really sparking?
Yeah.
You hear it.
Yeah.
When your ignition system's decent, you hear it.
Yeah.
Well, this car actually has spark plug wires. I've got to remember.
It does. Well,
You
the
know,
wires, they may be burned up. They sit up.
Modern cars don't have wires anymore. The coil's right on the spark plug, which is smart. This is just another opportunity for something to fail. And something did.
Yeah.
But we ran good a long time. And Sam here did a great job of driving too, thank goodness. He went faster than I did, which that doesn't happen very often.
Well, I had 4 brand new tires at the beginning of the day. You got the 4th stint. Yeah.
It was raining.
Well, it dried up. I like the rain a little bit.
You did a great job.
It's an honor just to get to drive with you, man. I'm so excited to be a part of it.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you could have told me the front end was wallowing around real bad.
I'm like Ricky Bobby. I just want to go fast. I don't know how to make it go fast, you know.
We get in trouble at Champ Car because we got a nice set of conies that are double adjustable from Kaplenki Racing.
Yep, Ben. Yep.
We bought them. But I love Ben Kaplan at Kaplenki Racing because he's crazy enough to build race parts for a Volvo 740. Although I think he does a lot more Volvo 240 because the 240 is cooler.
It's a vastly superior chassis.
Oh, is it? I think the rear suspension might be.
The rear might be better. It's funny, you know, on the forums, you know, they call these the grandpa mobiles, you know, or the comfort wagon, you know. But
the couch.
I'm a 240 guy, but like my best friend Kenny, he's 740 all day long, you know. So
it's wider.
It's like an Auburn or Alabama fan. You gotta pick one side.
So a great weekend for us, really. Even though we only gained a couple hours today, at least I got to drive more. And Sam, thanks for your efforts.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Frank over here. Oh, it's a pleasure.
Yeah.
Pleasure. Frank over here, the one who rejuvenated this car. Come on in, Frank. Are you aware you got your shirt on inside out?
No.
Are you not proud of the moose?
No, well, it broke down.
On the other side, underneath here, it says Flyin' Moose.
Yeah.
So we had a great race. Thanks for coming along. We're going to make the car even better. We'll figure out what the heck's wrong with it on the next episode. Keep it going, folks. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything on the Randy Pobst YouTube channel. You never know what's going to happen.
That's